One of the best childhood memories for many is playing outside with the neighborhood kids and not coming home until it gets dark. It is probably the most carefree time of all. But unfortunately, sometimes evil lurks everywhere, and even in the circle of our acquaintances, one is not always safe. This is the case of Angélique Six, and for this we'll go today to the French Vambréchy near Lille. Angélique grew up with her parents together with an older sister. She had blue eyes, freckles, and always a smile on her face. A girl just entering her teens, she was described as determined, full of energy and drive. She was in the 5th grade. It is April 25th, 2018. Angélique is 13 years old and, as she often does, she wants to meet her friends at the park in the afternoon. She writes a note to her parents and leaves the house. She will never come back. When Angélique is not home in the evening, her parents call her friends, but no one seems to know where the 13-year-old is. The police are called. Both the police and the fire department search for her, even with the dogs, and there are also hundreds of volunteers who get involved in the search, but without results. Then, however, the police question children who had been in the park on Wednesday, and a 10-year-old boy tells them that Angélique had gone with a man. The boy had even been standing right next to them when Angélique and the man left the park. This boy can describe the man, and he also says that Angélique must have known him. It then doesn't take long to find a suspect, David Rameau. He is 45 years old, father of 2, bus driver in the Lille region since 2014. He is already known to the police because he has already committed a number of crimes, including grievous bodily harm, theft, and the rape of a 13-year-old girl, for which he was sent to prison for 9 years, but was released after only 5 years due to good behavior. When the police come to him, he immediately confesses to having killed Angélique. For the people of Vambréchy, not only the death of Angélique is a shock, but also that it was someone from their immediate neighborhood, whom many knew and who had never attracted negative attention. Someone who knew to cover up his criminal past. But what exactly happened on April 25th? That Wednesday, Rameau is off work. He is home alone as his wife and children are on vacation in the south of France. He drives to Lille, where he buys Viagra and beer. On the way home, he takes 2 or 3 pills of it and drinks 3 cans of beer. He then watches a little TV and falls asleep on the sofa. Shortly after, he wakes up dazed and goes outside to get some fresh air. As he passes the park where Angélique is staying, he tells her that he has a package that she should give to her parents. Angélique then follows him voluntarily, without suspecting anything, because she knows him. It is about 4:30 p.m. Rameau takes her to his house, which is only a few hundred meters away. He offers her something to drink, and they start talking. But Rameau quickly makes it clear that he doesn't want to just talk. Angélique starts screaming. He hits her before raping her. But the girl tries to defend herself. Rameau states that now he knew he had to kill her. He then strangles her. The whole thing lasts no longer than 15 minutes. After that, he cleans the house, removes traces of blood, and disposes of Angélique's cell phone and her clothes. He puts the girl's body in a suitcase and puts it in his car. Then he drives off, stopping on the way to buy a shovel. At this point, it is about 7:15 p.m. He drives to Quesnoy-sur-Delle, only about 6 kilometers from Vambréchy, stops at the entrance of the forest. There he tries to dig a hole. When this fails, however, he simply hides the body in the thicket. Then he drives back home and writes a letter to his wife and another one to his children. He does not send them, however, but puts them in a closet, where they are later discovered. Rameau's wife and children hear of the murder and his confession from the news. they are still on vacation. The people of Vambrechy are in shock. In the small community where everyone knows each other, suddenly no one feels safe. It could have happened to anyone. But they are also upset with the police. Ramon had been employed by Transpol as a bus driver since 2014 and was constantly involved with children. His wife Letizia was also very involved in the school, and Ramon also helped out there, sometimes even accompanying children on school trips. So how can it be that someone who has already been in prison for rape can work with children? After the murder of Angélique, the debate about the surveillance of sex offenders and repeat offenders was reopened, as in France, they only have to report to the police once a year and give their exact address. However, many feel that this is not enough to prevent further sex crimes. A white march was held in Angélique's memory on May 1, 2018, and 5 days later she was buried. Ramon's lawyer said his client was completely distraught, aware of his actions, plagued by remorse. He was lost and even cried several times. Apparently, he is not a cold and calculating monster. On April 29, 2019, almost 1 year after Angélique's murder, David Ramon was heard for the first time by the investigating judge at the Lille courthouse, and on May 24th, he had to reenact the crime in the presence of the victim's family at the Agrippa playground. Ramon's trial has been slow, leading to further criticism. So far, no verdict has been reached. In March of this year, however, it was announced that the trial will be continued in November. On May 15, 2018, the family and friends founded Le Sourire d'Angélique, which means the Smile of Angélique, an association that remembers the 13-year-old and provides financial support to her family. And since Angélique was a big Paris Saint-Germain fan, the soccer player Neymar also supports this cause. Sometimes it's frightening to see that you can't always be safe, even with people you seem to know. And the punishments for offenders who commit crimes against children often seem far too lax, don't they? What do you think about this case? Feel free to let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you on Sunday for another case. See you then. Take care.